Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so we are moving ahead with the next segment of the day, a very interesting, very important deliberation which is yet to start. It is on understanding marketing and branding challenges and opportunities during the era of disruption. And the eminent speakers for this important discussion, let me introduce Mr. Ankur Saxena. He is the Director, Marketing and Admissions from Sage University. Welcome, Dr. Ankur Saxena, in this event.
Namaskar and thank you
Mr.
very much, sir.
Mr. Dhimant Agarwal, he is the Director, Digital Strategy, JECRC University. Welcome, Mr. Dhimant.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
Dr. Saibal Chatterjee is the General Manager, Academic Initiative, GLA University. Welcome, Mr. Saibal.
Hello, welcome to all and happy to be with you. Thank you.
Professor Dr. Saranjit Singh, the Director, Industry Engagement, KIIT, deemed to be University. Welcome, Professor Saranjit. Mr. Devadeep Kumar, Associate Director, Office of Communication, Ahmedabad University. Welcome, Devadeep, sir.
Thank you. Looking forward for a very interesting engagement.
Mr. Makme Agarwal, Chief Manager, Marketing and Admissions, Jain College, Jain deemed to be University. Welcome, Mr. Makki.
Thank you so much.
And the session is going to be moderated by Mr. Suraj Safra. He's the Chief Strategic Officer, No Paper Forms. No Paper Forms is also the powered by partner and helping us, encouraging us, supporting us to organize such event through this era of disruption, where we are now with you all at India's Top 30 Marketeers Summit 2021. Over to you, Suraj.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Chandan. And I'm glad to be moderating this panel. To start, I extend my warm welcome to each and every panelist present today. A lot of you are already our clients, so I happen to meet you a lot. And I'm really happy to be sharing this space with all of you. And I'm expecting a great discussion over the next 1 hour or so. I will also encourage the audiences to post as many questions in the Q&A section below. And I will try to pick some questions during or after the session. So the topic we have collaborated to discuss today is understanding marketing challenges and educational institutions in the way forward. And to begin, let us first of all understand the evolution of marketing and educational institutions from traditional earlier to digital today. So around 2 decades ago, view of increasing number of educational institutions, thus depleting demand, colleges and universities realized the need of promotions and advertising. And when all the traditional mediums got cluttered and cost heavy, then digital marketing in the country evolved, and it evolved around certain promises. Now, those promises were that digital marketing isn't cost heavy, it is measurable, very quantifiable, can be fine-tuned on a runtime basis, ROI oriented, and can be executed in a progressive day-to-day manner. But to what extent the digital marketing has lived up to its promises? And what are the other challenges and opportunities in the area of branding and institution is what we will like to understand from the panelists today. And with this, I will point my first question to the youngest of the panel, which I think is Dhiman, representing JCRC University, which is one of the leading universities from the state of Rajasthan. So Dhiman, what has been your experience around the shift in the way educational institutions were marketing them, and what are the recent trends being observed?
Sure, sir. So it's really great to be here and under your company and all my seniors. So looking forward to a great enriching experience and some new lessons to learn. I think the digital age has been steadily changing the way we live and do businesses in India for years. And it's been now given an exponential boost by the COVID-19 pandemic. Uh, I feel in a world where convenience is starting to trump customer loyalty and frictionless and real-time online experiences become crucial for your brand, and technology can now help them deliver. I feel it is not just we have to give, if I may say so, some credit to the pandemic, but we have seen the industry evolving over the last 5-7 years. It started with all the ed techs coming in, which do not just deliver online courses or bring in new courses or put the world on a closer map, but also support universities like us, and then models like College Dunia and NPF coming in, which help a great deed in marketing and eventually helping the universities touch their customer base, the students. And then analytics, obviously, which didn't exist over a decade back. the kind of analytics the universities are able to do now, I think will form the basis of the strategies of the entire marketing efforts that the universities put in. So I am glad the entire the entire university system and the entire industry is evolving with the entrance of these new models, and the analytics that we're able to see helps us elaborate and make our strategies much more clearly.
All right. So I think a lot of shift in the marketing, the way marketing spends were being made, what was propagated because of Corona. But Corona or no Corona, what has been your experience in your institution about the transition of marketing spends? So traditional essentially means newspapers and pamphlets, or maybe radio ads or regional television channels, and digital is what you are already aware about. So how has been the split of marketing spends even in the non-Corona era, and how it is going to be like? What's your view on this?
Right. So I would like to put this into two categories. One is marketing expense, what you were talking about. Other is the technology expense. Over the last 5-7 years, what I talked about, we have seen the digital technologies evolve and enhance. Definitely, since we are in the nascent stage, we are in the formative years, we are building up our digital strategies. So that cost, that investment has increased drastically. But at the same time, due to that investment, our digital marketing costs have come down. The cost that we incurred on automation has now started giving us results, and the cost for digital marketing and other marketing efforts have started to drastically come down. So this is, I feel, a long-term investment that all universities are foreseeing and doing. And eventually, obviously, the marketing cost will come down, and definitely we are already seeing good and better ROIs coming in.
Great. So I'll take a cue from what Dhiman mentioned, and I'll point my next question to Dr. Ankur, who's from Sage University. Dr. Ankur, Dhiman talked about transitioning from traditional to digital, and in view of the marketing costs coming down, and he's realizing some sort of a change there also, some sort of an optimization. However, what we have seen as a technology vendor assisting a lot of universities across the country is that somewhere digital marketing operations are have started to become like traditional marketing was being executed. So traditional was very cluttered, and moment institutions realized, they thought that okay, digital is going to be the savior, because now if digital, I'll be in entire control. I'll be able to execute the way that I want. I'll be able to fine tune and run progressive campaigns. However, it was not being seen at large. What is your opinion? Have you been able to get solid bang against the bucks that you're spending in digital marketing in specific?
Hello, everyone. Surajji, what you are saying, before that, I should quote the challenges which we all are facing at the moment also. That I must say, what a year 2020 is. Corona hit the world and destroyed all established norms of doing business. Most effective industries were like hotel, travel, tourism, and of course, education. And sudden and complete lockdown stunned the world, and we are not used to this digital transformation. Basically, this disruption is awaited since long, and the sudden complete lockdown enabled us and forced us to go digital in no time. By 23rd of March, I think we all are facing this problem, and very next day my management asked me to do something. Thanks to our Chancellor Engineer Sanjeev Agrawal, he always used to say, great challenges always provide us better opportunities. And from the very first day, it is very clear in my mind that this is the time when every education organization built their brand over digital platform. So thanks to this, I don't know it's good or bad, but thanks to this pandemic, that every education institution got an opportunity to go digital. Things are moving in very, very fast and very positive direction for us. But few challenges are how to connect with our all kind of stakeholders, like our students, their parents, the prospective students, and the society by large, our alumni. This is the first and the biggest challenge for us, because traditionally what we are doing, we give ads on paper, and at the moment what people are seeking, they are ready to get educated by the educationist over digital platform, and they are not ready to purchase newspaper. So we have to change our perspective regarding this. The second very important challenges is I think the engagement, how to engage with our internal as well as the external customers. Internal customers are our assets, and we need to get them motivated for these kind of changes, so with very positive mindset. And the third and foremost important thing, that our communication should reach to our prospect. So the channel selection, what you are saying, that traditionally our channels are something different, and at the moment we go live on social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, or any other kind of media platform. And meanwhile, we all have to keep in mind that all efforts should be cost effective, and digital platform gives us, enable us, and empower us to be more cost effective while we are performing all these kind of marketing activities. Thank you, Suraj.
Great, great. But I'll not, let you go and ask you an extended question on this. What about the steps that you take to ensure that, all the challenges you were able to overcome or partly overcome?
Surajji, from the very first day, I am clear that public and my prospective audience are searching social media platform. Mm-hmm. They are on WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. So we utilize this social media platform to connect with our stakeholders. We designed various kind of campaign to engage with general audience. Like we have started from, I think on 26th, we have launched one awareness, Corona awareness kind of campaign. And in the month of April and I think in the month of June, we initiated one campaign like clinical cleanliness to motivate our employees to visit the institute, as well as to gain the trust of our student as well as the employees. The beauty is that you don't push a single communication to a longer period. So a marketer must know where to change our communication. So in the month of April, we are very much clear that now public is bored while they are searching and getting all the information related to Corona. So we have changed our communication in the month of May, and we have started Sage Talk series. And during this pandemic period, we contributed near about 1,000+ Sage Talk involving health practitioners, police. We involve motivational speakers with us. We engaged with our alumni. We invited company professionals on our platform, and we create a great engagement with our prospective customer as well as the internal customers. On the other hand, we reduce our marketing cost on print, so that we can spend more on digital platform. Thanks to undoubtedly No Paper Forms, they provided us great opportunity through their marketing automation system to engage with our prospective students. Hats off to these teams. We have started a various kind of campaign to engage with our existing students, like share your moments with us, share your photos, share your selfie while they are doing online things. So we created so much engagement activities for our students that in no time our reach, we can maximize our reach. So it is all about dreaming, and it is all about doing things and on a very fast manner.
Great. So Dr. Ankur mentioned about importance of effective communication and engagement and use of social media to propagate that communication across. And I think I can take it further with Mr. Mackey and Mr. Devadip Kaur, he being the Associate Director of Communications for Ahmedabad University. But I'll post my first question to Mr. Mackey. Mackey, before I ask a question, please let us know that what's the name of your, what's the meaning of your name, first name. It's a very interesting name. How did you
basically, Suraj, when I was born, my mom and dad wanted to keep some name matching to my dad. My brother. His name was Sankey. As such, there's no meaning, but I found one meaning. May is Hindi May. So, and key is key chabi. So I am key to anything.
Wow.
So, that is what I tell people when they ask meaning of my name. And probably if you search Gmail again, Mackie.Agrawal 1 also will be found in Gmail, because I'm the only Agrawal with Mackie.
Very, very sure. Sankey and Mackie, this is a deadly combination. And I'm sure you've got the key to the next question that I'm going to pose to you. So, just Ankur mentioned about, usage of social media. I believe that social media being an open forum and a lot of content in social media being user generated may create a lot of problem. You'll post an ad and, somebody maybe from a competition or maybe a frustrated student who didn't really get an admission at your university would come and post some negative things about you. So how do you ensure that, these things are not really happening, or how do you control this? And, what would you advise to a lot of people that how should they really be going about adopting social media in the right way?
First thing, Mr. Suraj, I would like to, although this disruption was totally, a negative impact in the global world, but, for marketers like us, definitely, I would definitely thank, this kind of situation, because most of our beliefs where we were stuck into has actually got disrupted. Old schools were disrupted. Now, when we come to social media, first of all, we should also understand that, digital marketing is called as marketing for a reason, and it is not called digital sales. What we generally, as an institute or, digital marketing houses try to do is try to get as much of lead generation, try to promote and then call the students and then close it. But trust me, in Jain, we have been practicing a little different. Definitely, I'm sure most of the eminent speakers, respected speakers will agree to. What we have been doing was the more of content. Now, our thought process was very clear that if a student, is applying for CA, first of all, we should know that whether he is actually interested in that course or it is a halo effect. It's like Bhed Bakri, one guy says, I'm going to Jain, and everyone says Jain, or, anything. So it should not be a halo effect. We actually at Jain try to understand, if the student is actually interested in that particular course. And by the time he applies or he or she applies, and by the time they close their admissions being eligible after our entrance process, what we do is we send them across 12 different, information mailers, SMS, only pertaining to those courses. You're getting my point? So if you say digital marketing, if you are using it definitely in a right sense, social media marketing, it's definitely beneficial. There are people who actually ignore reviews, and it's a matter of fact, everyone knows, and everyone will vouch for it, that whenever you are in agony or you have experienced something wrong, then only you go and write a review. Even if I make you delighted, you will never go and write a review. I might have to force you. So but definitely, yes, we have been addressing those issues personally also in social media platforms also. There are, colleges also who will take it negatively. But yes, successfully, if you keep monitoring those, if you have a mechanism who can monitor those on a day-to-day basis, definitely you can, control those damages.
All right. Great. So, Mr. Devadeep Kaur, you being the Assistant Director of Communications for Ahmedabad University, one of the popular universities in Ahmedabad, I would like to ask you, sir, now, both Ankur and Mackie talked about usage of social media, adopting in the right manner, content propagation. Even Ankur talked about that, how they were very particular about varying the content every month and every fortnight so that they are able to actually communicate to their prospects different elements and aspects about their university. In fact, Mackie talked about too much of a lead generation campaigns. So what, in your opinion, are the common mistakes the institutions may make while devising their and executing their marketing plans or communication strategies? What do you think is the importance of content variation and content discovery. You are on mute, sir. I think that's the most said statement during the Corona times. Am I audible or you are on mute? I'll try and unmute you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
See, I won't go to the extent of saying a mistake, but aggressively, most of the universities and institutions are always talking about the programs they offer. We at Ahmedabad do not believe that. But I think during the pandemic, the first thing that we learned that universities and institutions are center of hopes. And at that time, we are just trying to reach out in the language these students are inquiring about. Number one, that we saw a practice that has been coming. We got a lot of queries about students. First of all, obviously, there's a huge issue in India, obviously, online connectivity. So there are people who are not from Ahmedabad, people also remotely connecting, and that's what the problem with the network. So we at Ahmedabad took a very first and a very strong step of connecting with them personally, individually, on a group, on a podcast. And starting with the Vice Chancellor himself, we started the narrative. So once that's settled in, we talk about only, things that we are very sure of, which is the interdisciplinary nature of Ahmedabad University. We have given them even options of taking a deferred graduation. Universities at this juncture can't even talk about going aggressive on a marketing campaign. And I personally do not believe marketing campaign should be done, for a particular phase. And that will happen, that eventually we all have to get in the market and do the campaign. But content variation, as we talk about, the very first and foremost thing that's important for me is to engage with somebody 365 days a year. So when we at Ahmedabad, the interdisciplinary nature of the education that we have is backed by a very strong foundation program. If I may just take 2 more minutes, we have a School of Engineering, we have a School of Art and Sciences, and we have a School of Business Administration. So when an undergraduate comes in, he or she goes to a classroom, which we call a foundation program. A lot of universities, I think, are propagating that, I believe, in a liberal way. So an engineering student sits right next to an art and science student. An art and science student is actually sharing to sit next to a business administration student who goes to 4 studio program. These are very crucial. To start with archiving the time. It's an oral history documentation project. At the time that Suraj, you stayed or lived in, at the passage of time, or Mr. Sehbal has stayed in, or Dr. Saranjit has stayed in, are very different, very unique. So each student take up this time, they try to depict it in a group form. So it can be creation of a musical instrument, or creation of a document, or it can be a poem, it can be anything. That's one studio program they do. Second is a neighborhood project. They go out and really seek out a sustaining program on the neighborhood where they're going to make a sustaining solution or a change to it. The third studio that we do is Democracy and Justice, where they can openly talk about the current environment we're staying in, different democracy, or the judicial system of the world. They can talk about it. It's a very open platform. And the fourth is a very crucial thing on water. We call it water. The whole concept of water, the data science of water. These are the students who have never stepped out in a slum or never gone out of the, most of them are very privileged and guarded by parents. They actually go to a local village, and even sampling of water is not only a sampling, they actually talk to the neighborhood people. They talk to a villager. They see the women folk are there, or the men is sitting at home. They start talking. So they would not only understand the the local self-governance part of it, they also understand acutely issues that has been bogging them down. So these are the studio program. This time also we did it online. It's unbelievable. This entire program is so physically done in a physical world. We went on. We reached out and we spoke about in our organic content. And as someone, Mr. Jain University person was speaking, we also believe very strongly about creating an ecosystem of university. Because universities, as I say, a center of hope. It's not for programs. I think every university is having a great, fantastic programs. Some of them are great flagship programs. It is not about program, rather it is our intellectual experience that we're going to tell. So I believe my content is all about that. And my entire team just curated the Ahmedabad experience. It's so important. To quickly sum up, pandemic is not a biological or a medical issue. That's, if it had been the biological or a virus-related issue only, by this time we would have a solution to it. Marketing communication came in, wash your hand. Policing came in, because we need to really stop people from breaking the lockdown. Globally, there's an entire economic order changed. Overall, everything is involved. So we cannot have a student today and say, I've already majored in chemistry. So here with Ahmedabad, we offer a history with chemistry. Why not? There is a huge synergy. There's a huge multidisciplinary connect between 2 subjects. So this is what we at Ahmedabad has picked up and targeted it. And we have not really picked up a marketing campaign as such. So the particular time, We kept doing campaigns for our programs. Great, we all have to do it. But the whole story was told in a way that people come to us only for those who understand what we are, who we are, and what transformative life they're going to go once they go out and seek the world as a brave new world soldiers. That's at Ahmedabad we take care of that, and that's how we do our content.
Right. So you talk about 360-degree and year-round engagement. It's very
Yeah.
a lot of things that you talk about is once a student is inside of your campus, that you do. But the question here is, and I'm going to ask an extension, is that how to take it out to your prospects. One very important thing to balance out is that you would not want to reach out to the masses because you might have a shortlisting criteria. Not every lead or an application could be an admission at your institution. So how do you reach out? What are the mediums that you use? How much of that is dependent on social media? How do you communicate? And how do you ensure that you are reaching out to the right sort of audience, and when and what is how's that decided in your institution? The surprise of this.
Absolutely. See, I think the basis and essence of a marketing campaign is knowing your audience. Who are your audience? The defined right from the demography to the consumer behavior, even to psychology. So today, by this time, after 10th year of Ahmedabad University, we know who is our student. So accordingly, the campaign is planned in the demographic area. A. B, we are really perturbed, even answered by direct admission. We were really perturbed about that, the whole diversity issue. We are thinking people from Northeast or people from East or people from down South, maybe this year will not apply. I'm talking about 2020. But surprisingly, we have sizable admissions coming up. Sizable admission happen online. In fact, I am also an online joinee, by the way. In the March 2020, I joined online. So the whole thing moved in, and we were really bothered about diversity. But here, there's a different sort of results are coming. Thanks to this overnight dissertation, there are universities, there are students who have been writing it to us. So we heard about this university. How can you apply? So we have people from Assam, people from Manipur, people from Mizoram coming in. So I mean, we have a connect, and that's connect is, and most importantly, I think, Suraj, we had a very strong take of who we are. That internally we understood who we are, and that's what has been message has been right from the day one. And Professor Chandra, who's head of affairs, is very particular about that, who we are. And once you have the defined key message, as we call it, we know things become very easy from there on. I mean, there are times we have closed, there are times we have shooed away audiences or the students at times because those were not our types, maybe. Very strong statement I'm saying, but that's who we are, and that's how it defines us.
Yeah. So a lot of being, is being said and done around enrollments happening, even hiring is happening online. During the pandemic, as an organization, we had close to 70-75 people online. We had them virtually, we are also thinking that it saves you a lot of cost and time. You are able to do much more in lesser time, but it would be to honestly understand that how much of that you would want to continue doing. So if I ask Saibal, who's from GLA, Mathura, one of the leading universities in the state of Mathura, what would you prefer more, meeting and counseling their parents in person with a lot of tangibility, or would you not mind doing that forever online, virtually? You're also on mute, Saibal.
I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. First and foremost, a very good afternoon to all of you, all the eminent panelists. Suraj, the basic point is that before giving the direct answer to your question, first and foremost, this online reality which is forcing into the market for last 10 years, which is just peeping onto the doors, and it's a vis-a-vis running, like with the traditional marketing side by side, the online marketing. And as soon as this pandemic hit, it's opened the door. Now, for us, what I can tell you, that we are basically a state regional based university. We have got a huge cluster, huge student base from UP, and we are doing a very good, significantly very well in UP. Now, with the hit of this pandemic, what has happened? It has opened a door. We have to reach furthermore. So when the reach has extended to furthermore, because as I should tell you that we don't have any admission team. We not at all have a single admission team at all till date, and we are on the 23rd year of operations. We have got only 8 to 9 people who are doing the student outreach program, nothing more than that. So now what happens with the eminent guidance of our Honorable CEO, Sri Neeraj Agarwal ji, what we do, that when we find that when the pandemic has hit and then we are entirely in the shutdown modes and all, instead of marketing our university, we have started educating how to use the online gadget. Now, when I am hitting to a student, because first and foremost, for everybody, all of us, the main thing, source is data. Now, and everybody, whatever the activity we do, whatever the process we follow, we run for the data and enter that as much as you can accumulate the data so that you can work it out. And every university and college has got different opinion and different operations to do that. So now what we do, we have started educating our target group how to use gadget. Now, for example, when the Zoom has come, now Zoom is coming, that same thing is happening. I am muted or I am unmuted. You open your camera, you open your mic like that way. So what has that, by educating them, we are gradually putting our bouquet in front of them. Now, and we have done, I should say that in this pandemic, we have done almost 500 plus direct session webinars, and not only in UP, pan India, you tell Northeast, Bihar, eastern side of India, then Nepal, Bhutan, we have done in Bangladesh also, like that way, due to the help of coming down to your question that whether I want to meet directly with the parents or through the mode of online mode. See, now today's date, I think all the universities are following after this pandemic has said the 10 commandments. I am using this word 10 commandments. That one is that professional and informative website has to be followed. Then presence of social media has to be done. Then maximum webinar has to be done. Then presence of authentic presence of authentic webinar. You should be present in authentic webinar, because nowadays students are very smart. They know as soon as you give certain gigs and all, they will tell no sir, in that webinar or that thing it has happened like that way. So this authenticity also has to be a big thing. Then followed by honchos meeting, honchos webinar sessions. Then and now presently, lot of universities, we are also in the verge of doing that. That using the admission bot, that with the help of artificial intelligence, you can just give it the direct interaction with the students, because students initially nowadays not interested to speak to a third party to come down to the university. So that is also giving a big help to us. And if you take my count on this, my take on this, obviously it is a easier way to talk to the students through virtual mode or with the help of digital mode. And obviously, why not when they're in the campus, we have to, by virtue, we have to talk to them physically.
Interesting. You talk about bots and everything. I'll move to Dr. Saranjit Singh, who is the Director Industry Engagements. Welcome, Dr. Saran. So you
Hi,
are
Suraj.
you are meant to fuel the industry engagements for the university, and KIIT is one of the most reputed, very well-known university of the country.
Right.
I personally know Dr. Achyuta Samanta is a great person. I'm sure that everybody is aware about him. So now, during Corona times, how did you shape the entire division of yours? Because especially industry engagement are known to be more physical, very tangible, very aggressive, exciting. How did you retain all of that for your students?
Thank you, Suraj, for asking a question which actually is in my forte. First of all, because I'm not a marketer. But anyways, I'm a professor in mechanical here as well. I'm a former dean here for mechanical. For the last 12 years, I've been handling industry engagements and placement activities of our university here, KIIT. So through by through, almost most of my career, I've been into academics only, and I've been teaching. Well, I thank Rahul and Chandan, the entire team, for giving an opportunity and inviting at the last moment yesterday that you have to be a part of this panel. So good afternoon to all the panel members as well. So, I mean, yes, Suraj, I'd like to answer your question with a little context. I mean, the context is, 2011, when I was given a responsibility of KIIT to head the placements and industry engagements. Rather, at that point of time, we were not coining the word industry engagements. We were saying corporate relations and placements. And there were hardly any professors or full-time dedicated faculty members who are deeply immersed in research teaching been given these responsibilities. Or if it all was there in some government institutions, it was for the namesake and it was driven by students team only. That's how it happened. We all studied in those institutions. We have seen. But I mean, over a period of time, as an on I worked, I felt that there has to be more a role of a faculty which has to be brought in. So I created a small team of faculty members drawn from various schools, and their role were definitely more on teaching and research. But yes, engaging with industry was one aspect which we wanted to bring in. And hence the entire flow of activity started. We changed our brand placement as brand industry engagements. I got redesignated as industry engagement director. Earlier I was dean for that. And we created a small office of industry engagements in all our 21 schools where faculty members have been taken the driving seat along with the students. And after 3-4 years of engaging with industry, we found out that, I mean, over a period of time, our batch strength was also increasing. So every year we take intake to close to 6,000 students, including our medical, dental, and law, I mean, management, rural management, engineering, which is our flagship programs, and so on. Then, I mean, the training interventions, which we felt was actually bothering us. And we thought that, okay, we have to look into some digital modes of engaging with the students for preparing them or for placing them in companies before, I mean, for preparing them before we place them into company or before they actually encounter any corporate interactions. And we moved into digital way in a big way at that point of time. And this was some 6-7 years before. And we explored a lot of opportunities which was there in the market. We talked to a lot of startups, many companies. Finally, we decided that, okay, we must have some customized solutions. And we caught hold of one startup and they actually incubated within our university. And today we had that platform and we use that platform extensively and we have allowed them to reach out to the market as well. And from first year onwards, a lot of interventions happens. We bucket students. We interact with them within the classrooms, outside the classrooms, 24/7, during summers, during winters. And at the end, the dossiers are created along with video CVs and everything. So it's all on digital mode. So, and it has been accessible through our SAP portal by all the stakeholders, the parents, especially the companies as well. So we give access to the companies also. If they want to see the entire history of the dossier, not only on the academia side, but on the academic related activities for the placement preparedness, what the student has done. So all this digitalization concept came to us 6-7 years back. And today we can proudly say we are almost completely digital. So when this COVID actually hit us, I mean, and everything was been standstill. And I mean, we were in the midst of the last leg of the campus season in the month of March, especially the core branches, because the planning of the core companies happens late and they come virtually to the campus a little late. So it all got stuck. And at least it took almost 2 months for major of the companies to revive, to devise platforms or to devise strategies for business continuity, and even for the business continuity with respect to campus programs. But we were actually exceptionally ready. And from July onwards, everything started pouring in. So our experience, if you ask me, on this side of industry engagements, where we feel so that probably physically or physical way is the only way forward for engagements is not correct. I think the experience which I had in last 1 year or so, which from March we'll be having 1 year of experience, there are definitely a lot of learnings. There are a lot of gaps to be filled up from both the stakeholder side, from company side, from corporate side, from campuses side like us. But the experience has been quite enriching. And I feel so this mixed mode is definitely going to help. It has reduced a lot of lead times. It has reduced a lot of money. I'm sure it has saved a lot of money. Yes, of course, the darker side of this is that a lot of industry verticals and businesses have got hit because of this. I'm sure I don't want to name those industries, but yes, you as a corporate person might be traveling and your team might be traveling. And suppose if you have hired 70 odd guys, you are saying, which all you have done digitally, would have imagined that you might would have been doing previous to this years. So a lot of time saving has been there. So there are a lot of benefits, a lot of plus. Yeah. But there are negatives as well. The negative is self-proctor test, how the proctoring was happening, whether the proctoring happening was correct or not, whether the students who have been appearing, they have been doing some malpractices or not. Sometimes we have observed the students have been available, the panel is not available. So handling large number of students so that seamlessly, smoothly the operations can be done was an issue and challenge. So the gap which I felt was we didn't have any platforms where probably if I have to interview 2,000 students in 5 days, how to do that? Along, I'm working very closely with company where the panelists and the HRs identity coordinates are not been shared with the students, and there are no hiccups, no problems, no indisciplinary actions, actually activities happening from that side. So that was a challenge. But my, experience is more on the positive side. If you ask me, physical is the way forward. It is not only digital. It has to be like that. I think this pandemic has accelerated the pace at which the digitalization was been happening. What could have been 10 years down the line, we are probably witnessing now, and we have to gear up for that. That is what I'll say.
Great. Now, as you've not been doing marketing yourself,
I feel Suraj. I put it in this way: we have been doing concept marketing, is a concept selling. So,
yes. So I was absolutely about to ask this to you from an outsider perspective. What do you think that your teams right and they've not been optimizing their efforts?
Somehow the culture here in the university has been over a period of time. What I have witnessed is that they believe on more on building internal teams. So we have a small team which looks into social media, marketing, campaigning, and those kind of stuff. And we have got some few professors coming from IT and backgrounds, studied abroad, and they have been working in industry corporate and have come back to Bhubaneswar and have joined us, who have been leading this. But there have been hiccups, there have been gaps, which over a period of time I have been also feeling. Internally, I'll take some cue which some of the esteemed speakers were also saying. And I feel so. Suppose, for example, we have got an faculty strength of 2,000. We have got, the total employee strength within the university is close to 10,000. So how much digitally we are visible in the various platforms? That is also very, very important. We as a faculty, whatever we have been doing, how much digitally we are visible. And probably that is a key. If all our faculty members or all our staff holders and stakeholders have been using these platforms and have been advocating whatever we have been doing here, because it's a huge university with 50,000 students, and another 50,000 students, we do CSR activities where we provide them free education from KG to PG. We call it KISS University, Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences. So that is one of the biggest outreach program of the globe, you can say. So what we say, round the year 24/7, 365 days, we have been doing some or other activity. But the marketing thing is in a very settled way here. I'll use this word settled. And if you ask me personally, I feel there has to be a more dedicated team, and there has to be more partners like yours. I'll definitely will recommend to our Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor and founder here to work out something with smart people like you, with such a beautiful organizations you have been having, so that we can take more mileage.
We've been working with KIIT since more than...
Yes.
So
absolutely,
it's a smart decision already taken.
Yeah.
So I'll move to Dhimant now. Now Dhimant, in the area of marketing, you adopted technology at the right time, and JECRC has been one of the early adopters. What are the visible changes you have seen in the way that you are communicating with the prospects or spending on different marketing campaigns at your institution?
Right, sir. So again, it all boils down to analytics and the data. But whatever form of the campaign is, accurate data is the key, and the customer segmentation strategy. Every time a student interacts with JECRC University, be it on the website, or we talk about the AI bots or the ML technologies that are integrated within the website, or any other marketing automation campaign for that matter, they provide the valuable data, and that data can be gathered and analyzed by specialized software tools. Using this data and technology, we are able to segment the audience into subgroups and then develop different personalized strategies for the subgroup. As Mr. Devadeep also mentioned, we know how the organization works, and we know ourselves very well. So we know what kind of students we deserve and what kind of students deserve us. And after analyzing this data, we are able to form specialized and interactive marketing campaigns. I strongly believe that interactive marketing is set to take the center stage in 2021 after whatever happened in 2020, and it'll be in multiple ways, in gamification, in chatbots, voice activity technology, different paradigms of SMS campaigns, augmented reality coming into marketing, and whatnot, all kinds of format. So the goal is to provide the dynamic, relevant, and engaging data to the audience, and create interactive marketing campaigns. So to give a quick example, so at JCRC University, we run multiple faculties. There are 12 faculties that we offer. And so we do make it a point to, again, we don't want to deal with large and data of masses. And that is where, again, interactive marketing comes in to deal with short data and do better marketing, better efforts on that data. So just say, for example, we are dealing with, we are offering 12 faculties, and the placement record has been very well. So we do make sure that not just to show, while marketing, not just to show the large companies or the companies which are attractive to students, but show companies which are relevant to student who is aspiring for that particular course. So a hotel management aspirant won't be interested in knowing the stats and data of maybe TCS or Accenture. What allures him is the Oberois and the Taj and Marriotts of the world. So that is where engaging with data, right audience, and interactive marketing comes into play. So I think we are glad we are moving in the right direction. And as you mentioned, we adopted technology early on, and I can say practically the entire university system has shifted online, starting from the admission process to, obviously, teaching is happening now online. The placement process has already begun and taking very good shape, online format again, and other training and cultural activities, the incubation center, the other events, activities outside the classroom also are happening online. So I'm very optimistic about it. But still, if you ask me to choose between offline and online, hands down, my priority would be offline. Nothing better than engaging with students and seeing that life going around in the campus offline. So my choice is always offline.
Very, very valid points that made around personalization of content and reaching out to different sort of target segments with the content which is going to appeal to them in specific and not dissemination of content at large. Now, my next question is to both Dr. Ankur and Saibal. I'm like, Ankur to take a first step on that. Now, both of our universities are, one is from Mathura, the other is from Bhopal, and these cities are in specific seen as more traditionally operated, right? Wherein people like to talk to each other, handhold each other and assist each other to take decisions. So the mindset is also conditioned in that direction. So how easy was it for you, Dr. Ankur, and later Saibal, to adopt technology and make your teams to use it to the core?
Thank you, Surajji, for asking this question. Actually, my complete marketing teams are used to go to field and do all kind of field marketing activities, like organizing a career counseling session, joining the career fairs, joining the melas, and visiting the schools, colleges, and coachings. And undoubtedly, they all are not much comfortable with this digital transformation, but gradually we are learning. And I think using marketing automation is a great way to fight this kind of situation. This year, undoubtedly, my marketing team is little bit stuck, but somehow we cope up. And thanks to, again, these online vendors, their help in this automation process. We use this personalized content to attract our prospects. Actually, the most important thing, sir, that you can't manage what you can not measure. Digital transformation give us the opportunity to measure all our marketing efforts while we are doing this kind of activity offline, means on with traditional method, most of the time we are not able to measure the outcomes of that efforts. But now it is in our hand that our efforts are cost effective, and we are very much measure the efforts what we do on online platform. So fixing up of KPI is the great things which we have learned during this pandemic period. Thank you.
Yeah. Your inputs on this, Saibal. In addition to that, I would like to assist us and apprise us that whose responsibility it should be. It should be the responsibility of the institution who is investing in technology towards adoption of technology, or it should be a responsibility of the technology that you're adopting, the vendor that you're adopting, that they should really be pushing your teams to adopt it.
See, Suraj, it has to be a sweet combination, I should say, to be very honest, because management always play a pivotal role in choosing the things, and simultaneously choosing the right technology. It will depend upon the person who is choosing that. So it has to be a good, sweet combination between these two. Just I'm sharing one thing with you. When this pandemic happened and all, when this online webinar, this, that, everything, already we are in the verge of transforming to the digitalization part or automated version of this thing. So we are in the verge of that. But as soon as the pandemic has hit, so and we are from Mathura, although the acceptance is there, but the resistance are, if you multiply it will be more. That नहीं होगा सर, नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा. One से पूछता सर नहीं होगा सर, वही नहीं सकता सर. So जो नहीं होगा से भाई वो हो जाएगा, because what happens is we are very keen on writing a draft in WhatsApp, but as soon as it comes on to Zoom, from W to Z, it will be a mammoth task. So I think everybody will agree into that. So when it's come down to Z, it's a mammoth task. So everybody is very keen and very conversant about uploading videos in YouTube. When it comes down to the university, videos has to be uploaded in their things. Oh sir, ऐसे कैसे होता है ये? So this thing has to be done. Yes, we have taken a mammoth task to, I should not say educate them, to upgrade them to some extent so that they can cope with the present scenario. And to be very honest, now everybody, the transformation has to happen. Because if the resistance is there, everybody will stuck. Now, pandemic has taught a lesson that by sitting at your home, you can be a millionaire, but sitting at the home, you can ruin your career also. So both the things that pandemic has taught us. So the main crux of it is that, yes, choosing the right platform, as I told you about the 10 commandments, so we have to buy that in the same thing digitally. And choosing the right platform, it gives a boost and help also simultaneously who is choosing this. And I am very lucky, our management, our CEO, Honorable Neeraj Agarwal sir, he is very keen in developing and bringing the new things into the system. And we are, I think in UP region, we are one of the universities who has got the entrance-based admission. Our courses are entrance-based. And so then, first and foremost, as Dhimant was telling, the data part, the quality of the data, so which is most important for us, to be very honest, because if the data is correct, my next course of action is moved. But if the data is not correct, then my entire thing will be in a doldrum. Right. So that we keep in track on that, and simultaneously technology, right person, and right attitude. Three things can combine to get a good success ratio, I think.
Okay, I see a lot of things have popped up on the screens. I am sure that most of them are awardees, so I would not like to take a lot of time, but a quick last, couple of last questions though. Would request quick answers on that. So, Mr. Devadeep Kumar, what about the things that you adopted because of Corona and you're going to continue that forever?
The very first and foremost is the organic connect that we got, especially through social media, non-paid. The connect was very strong. I mean, I give you a very quick example. One of the students got locked out because lockdown was imposed. She was from Africa. She couldn't go. What she did, she had a very small sewing machine. and she started creating. She said, "I want to be meaning. I mean, somewhere I want to contribute. It's a vacant campus with the security guards and few administration people." She started sewing masks, and I said, "Why not? Let's shoot a story." So I was sitting there somewhere out in North India, and she was here at Ahmedabad in the hostel, and one of the fellow students actually took permission to go and shot the entire video. We put it uploaded. Wouldn't believe, I mean, I think within hours we had 1,000+ likes. I'm not only talking about the likes and views, we started getting calls. These are great moving stories, and that's how the connect. I said, I'm not going to lose it. And this is the connect. Even yesterday, we put up a story on a gentleman who created a pouch. You put water into it, and in 10 minutes, you can actually warm any food. And this pouch has been now bought over by few great corporations. And these are great moving stories of the university. And this is the great organic connect that I have, and I will not lose them. And on the top of that, I mean, the data part was Dimant was also saying, very important, a robust CRM, where I feel we can go having, 10,000 datas. I don't need to know the exact data, where it's coming from and what these people are. Are they cold lead, hot leads? Absolutely, yes. But are we engaging them in a customized way? Are they exactly aware of the courses they're coming for? It's not about the program they come for. They want to come for the entire transformative experience the program going to give them. So that part is somewhere I think we need to link the bridge. And the more as
organic focus and personalization of content.
Absolutely.
Jackie, what did you adopt as an institution due to Corona, and you're going to continue it forever? A quick answer on this.
We have been doing this, but during Corona, we faced how do we go about that? I've been speaking about one-to-one counseling, the two holistic counseling, as we are dealing with career of a student. It was a challenge, but yes, through various platforms, we called in many students. Many times it happens, when you sit in office, people flow in. And then when you counsel people, the students, it turns out that you're counseling parents instead of students. So that was one place where, we have been always keen that, students should select a course according to their area of interest and their strength. And successfully this year also during lockdown, we touched 16,300 some odd numbers of one-to-one counseling. It might be because generally students have a tendency to go through get fancied by jargon names these days. You get n number of courses. People you name it in the market. Let's say ACCA, CIMA. They tell these are the courses I want to do because I have got fancied. When you ask them what do you know about it, they have no damn idea that what this course is all about. And let me place it on record. There are 60% of the students who might have got counseling from us and would have joined some other college. But holistically, as a counselor or as a marketing guy, we are doing our part. That's a brand recall for us because we genuinely guide them that what they can actually fit for.
Great. Dr. Saran, do you think that Corona and the pandemic has made all of us more agile, more innovative?
Yeah, of course. That's what I told, in my last session as well, where I was trying to relate it with my personal experiences. See, my feeling is, we've been talking about disruptions, whether it is in technology or whether it is in social circle or in our social life, it is going to stay and it is getting intense. COVID is an excuse. Probably, I told it, whatever going to happen 10 years down the line has been happening right now. So there are social tautness, there are so many prevailing circumstances. So this is going to be the way of life forward. And the learnings probably which we had, we have to keep on investing on that. My feeling was always there that what is us, in any university system, I may be open for disagreement, but when we talk about customer centric, customer focus, customer is the center of or nucleus of all the activities. What is that customer? Is the students or is where the students go and serve? So for me, if I'm a placement guide, it's corporate, so it's more corporate centric. Now, keeping that in mind, this a very, very unprecedented way, the shift which is happening from analog to digital, that has to be keenly observed. Right investments has to go that the digital experiential shift and digital experience from all the stakeholders, the faculty members, the non-faculty members, the support staff, the students, the parents, the guardians, I call it 6 eyes, 4 of their parents and 2 of the students. How this experience is going to be, the digital experience things. Do we have got instruments, methods, tools to measure the extent of the satisfaction of this digital experience and way forward moving? And can we do some corrective actions by doing the dipstick more at regular interval of time? So that the investment in that, what we have done in last 1 year, enriching our faculty members, our support staff, we will keep on doing that. And we don't have a presence on, digital education side as such. But if we keep on doing it, probably KIT can also become one of the premier organization to offer digital courses like what the beautiful West universities or some universities in India have been doing. And it's a huge, huge market for sure.
Yeah, best of luck to you for that. I'm sure that is going to happen. A quick rapid fire, and we'll start with Dhimant. Dhimant, one thing an education marketer shouldn't miss looking at before going to sleep every night.
One thing they shouldn't miss looking at the night is, again, I'm repeating it too much, but data and analytics. What demographics are you getting? What geography are you getting? What age bracket you're getting? The more time you spend, I'm whatever experience I have, the more time you spend on analytics, studying your analytics, the better your campaigns get. I feel that.
Saibal, your input on this.
Quality intake, as Dr. Saranjit told, I am agreeing into that. Quality intake will lead to quality output as well as quality placement. So the entire holistic development of a university should only happen.
Dr. Ankur, one thing that you keep on looking at every now and then, as far as the marketing spends are concerned.
Please come again, sir. Suraj sir, please come again.
One thing that you keep on looking at every now and then, as far as the marketing or maybe admissions in journal is concerned.
Surajji, my take is that every marketer should go for satisfaction. While we are working in education industry, our student satisfaction is our foremost important thing, and we should not overcommit, and what we should commit, we should be able to deliver that. And one more important thing, that every online vendor and marketer who is serving the education institution should, it is their responsibility that online platform not just offer their services to this education institution, but they should also train their team, as well as they should follow their lead funnel, and they should nurture lead through the buyer perspective. And these are the learnings for both the end, that education institute should don't miss the satisfaction part, and online vendors should focus more and more on the training part of their buyers.
Great. Mr. Devadeep Kaur, your input on the same.
I look for great, robust stories, marketing stories, transformative stories, and most importantly, technology. If it's ideating with us, that's the best part of it. Tools can come in, but stories are more important for me.
Okay, so Maki and Saran, Dr. Saran, different question for both of you. What's the advice that you like to give to your marketing teams, marketing agencies, or maybe technology vendors at large?
Maki can go first. It makes my task easier.
Maki, you're on mute. Maki, you're on mute.
Okay, yeah. If it's me to advise on marketing agencies or the one who are doing digital marketing, one thing is let's focus on more on content. On digital marketing, it's a branding tool. I don't think so. It's a sales tool. That's my perception. People might take it differently, but my personal feeling is it's a branding tool. And stop throwing junk leads, please.
Very right. Yes, Dr.
But I'll second to what Maki has told. I think the content, content marketing, whatever you call it, the content becomes a very important part. So the collaterals, the creatives, whatever has been created, and that plays a very, very important role. And that has to be seen, that it has not been replicated, there is authenticity into it, and it has been properly delivered to the right audience for me.
Fantastic. I think, the moment Chandan pulls up on the screen, it puts me under tremendous pressure to end the session. But Chandan, we started 15 minutes late, so I've taken extra 15 minutes to conclude the session. I thoroughly enjoyed interacting with all of you. I'll quickly summarize, what I've learned. I've learned that all the marketers really should look forward to a lot of transparency, a lot of agility and control. content personalization is the key, right? And I believe the times were really very tough for a lot of businesses around the world, but it has made all of us extremely agile. At our company, at No Paper Forms, due to Corona, we did a lot of things. Which, for example, we launched Nia, which is an AI-driven chatbot. If Corona wasn't there, we couldn't have ever thought of launching a chatbot and invest time in developing that product. And that product became an overnight hit, right? Because we are working with close to 450 institutions across the country and abroad. There are 35% of Indian private universities are using No Paper Forms. So the kind of learning and the augmentation of AI, which our chatbot gets, who could really do that, right? Similarly, we launched an admissions continuity plan, right? There's a virtual admission process that we launched. Without Corona, we couldn't have ever thought about it. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of agility this pandemic has taught us. So we should really stay optimistic, as all of you said. So thank you so much for your time and patience. Thank you so much, the entire audiences who must be hearing us out. And thank you so much, Asma. Congratulations to all the winners.